What's up YouTube? I'm Buzo Builds and I wanted to make a video on tips about how to get into companies like Google, Microsoft, Facebook, the whole FANG shebang as a college freshman. Now you might be wondering, what does a loser like me know about getting into these tech companies? Well, it might surprise you, but I have a little bit of experience. As a college freshman, I was a Microsoft Explorer intern, and as a college sophomore, I was a software engineering intern for Google. So I just wanted to share the tips I learned from these experiences to help other people out. The main principle to keep in mind when applying to FANG companies is that 1, they're looking for people who have a passion for technology, and 2, they're looking for people who have some coding competency. They're looking for these type of people because they're the type of people who's going to care about the work they produce. They already have some knowledge and competency, and also they're sure to continue the pattern of learning that they've been following. In short, they're the type of people who are going to be successful in their job. So when applying to FANG, it's your job to make an argument as to how you are both passionate about technology and how you have some coding competency. So with that, here are some main keys for getting an interview with one of the FANG companies. 1, personal projects. Personal projects are great because they show that you have a passion for technology, considering that you took the initiative to work on these projects. And 2, it shows that you have some coding competency since you're able to work on and make these personal projects. Some personal projects that I worked on, I forget if this was before or after the internships, but I worked on making Tetris from scratch. I mean, if you look at the theme song, it shows some of my personal projects, but making Tetris from scratch using Java. I made an autonomous robot that was able to detect walls and turn around to avoid, detect obstacles and avoid them, and a whole bunch of other small but fun stuff. So yeah, personal projects are really great for your application. So another main key is a somewhat strong grasp on the coding language. If you've been working on personal projects, well, this shouldn't be a problem because you've probably been using 1 or 2 languages for these projects. Again, a decent understanding of a programming language shows both passion and competency, and you can use these languages in your interview. Be wary though, if you state that you're somewhat competent in a language, then it's possible that the company may test you on this language. So make sure that you're actually somewhat competent, and it's not just that you learn how to say hello world and then you're like, oh, I know this language. Another key is having a resume that clearly shows / argues your passion for technology and your ability to program. Your resume is like an advertisement. The reviewer is only going to look at it for a small finite amount of time and then put it wherever. So as I said, it's your job to 1, make the argument, but 2, grab her attention or his attention. Clearly show them that you possess the attributes that they're looking for. You can do this by 1, putting personal projects somewhere on the top of your resume. Also listing languages that you're competent in, special classes that you've taken that people generally haven't taken, or maybe certificates, stuff like that. Also listing awards and experiences. And here's my current resume. I don't have my old one. I don't know where that went. I probably overwritten it, so but there's my current resume. This is what I would submit if I was trying to apply to a company. Another somewhat key is GPA. I don't think GPA is too important, especially if you're a freshman and you don't even have a GPA yet. But it can still serve as an indicator for your coding competency if you major in computer science or a major like that. So, and this goes without saying, just make sure your GPA doesn't fall too low. And a high GPA is always helpful. So, where to apply? Many of the FANG companies have internship programs specifically for freshmen and sophomores. Microsoft has Microsoft Explorer, Google has Google Step, and Facebook has Facebook University. So make sure to look at these programs and apply to them. The pay is great and the experience is great as well. But if you're also feeling kind of bold, you can apply to the regular software engineering internships that these programs have, or that these companies have, I mean. Or you could apply to both if it's possible. Interview tips. 1. Get a copy of the Cracking the Coding interview book and use it as a study guide so you can know what topics you're weak in and what topics you're strong in. And of course, study the topics you're weak in and then study the topics that you're strong in. I don't think this tip is so important, but this is what I did. But get yourself a copy of the Introduction to Algorithms Clar's book and use it as supplementary reading material to give you further in-depth knowledge about why solutions to algorithms work, the solutions to algorithms, the type of algorithms, and all that good stuff. 3. Study dynamic programming. The freshman and sophomore programs are not likely to ask you dynamic programming problems, but there's no harm in having extra knowledge. And also the regular software engineering programs, internship programs, they are likely to ask you dynamic programming problems. And it's just fun to know and use and learn, so just learn it. 4 or 5, I don't know. I don't even know why I was counting these. I didn't count the other ones, but ask questions. During the interviewing process or the interview questions, ask questions about spots of the problem that's ambiguous or places where you could make assumptions but you don't want to. This scores you extra brownie points and it just helps you solve the problem the way they want you to solve it. And the most important interview tip is when you're studying for the interview, make sure you understand why a solution to the problem is the solution to the problem. It's okay to not know the solution at first, but when you are studying the solution, make sure to study it in depth and make sure to study it in depth and understand how this solution solves the problems. The reason I say this is because even though there's technically an infinite amount of programming interview questions that you could be asked, these problems cluster into a finite amount of problem types. And these problem types can be solved with a slight tweak to a solution. So if you truly understand a solution and you're able to generalize that solution so it can solve a cluster of problems, and you gain all of the tools you need, the solutions, I call the solutions tools. If you gain all the tools you need to tackle each cluster, then you should be good for almost any interview problem. So the most important tip is to truly understand why a solution works, be able to generalize that solution, and study different types of problems. And yeah, that's really all I have for you guys. This is stuff I wish somebody would told me when I was in my journey of trying to get a FANG internship, and I hope you guys find this helpful. Check out my other videos, and yeah, peace.